Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, hidden treasures, and shocking coin values hiding in plain sight. If you're passionate about US coins or you're just getting started in the fascinating world of numismatics, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of America's most iconic coins, the Washington Quarter. From surprising mint errors to rare variations that have sold for thousands, this coin is more than just 25 cents. It could be a hidden jackpot waiting in your pocket. So grab your coin jar, sit back, and listen carefully, because what you're about to learn might just change the way you look at your spare change forever. Top 1. Today we're talking about the 2021 Washington Quarter, crossing the Delaware. This coin might look like your everyday pocket change, but there's more to it than meets the eye. Some versions of this coin, especially ones with rare mint errors, are turning heads in the collector community and fetching incredibly high prices. So sit tight, coin lovers, and listen carefully, because today's story is about American legacy, hidden rarity, and a coin that could be worth a small fortune. You definitely don't want to miss this. Let's start with a bit of historical context. The 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter marks a unique return to traditional American coinage. After the wildly popular America the Beautiful series ended in 2021, the U.S. Mint decided to release a standalone design before launching the American Women Quarters program in 2022. And what better way to honor the nation than with a design that captures a defining moment in the Revolutionary War? This quarter pays tribute to General George Washington as he leads his troops across the icy Delaware River in 1776, just before the surprise attack on the Hessian forces in Trenton, New Jersey. This daring move turned the tide of the American Revolution, and now, it's captured forever on a piece of modern currency. Now let's talk design. The obverse side of the coin features a restored version of John Flanagan classic portrait of George Washington, first seen on quarters back in 1932. But if you look closely, this version is sharper, more detailed, and carries the inscription Liberty above and the year 2021 below Washington's profile. But it's the reverse side that truly sets this coin apart. Here, we see Washington in a bold, commanding pose, standing on the bow of a boat, saber in hand, with soldiers rowing behind him. The details are stunning: the folds in his coat, the grip of his sword, the choppy waters of the Delaware, all expertly engraved into this small, round canvas. And here's where things start to get really interesting. Most people assume that modern coins aren't worth much beyond face value. But every once in a while, a coin comes along that defies expectations. The 2021 Crossing the Delaware Quarter is one of them. Even though these quarters were struck for circulation, a limited number of them feature extremely rare minting errors, and that's where collectors start to take notice. Let's go over a few of the most talked about errors that can make this coin incredibly valuable. First, there's the cut error, where a portion of the die breaks off and leaves a raised, blob-like feature on the coin, often near Washington's hat or the rim. This error is dramatic, visible, and highly collectible. Then we have the die clash error, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between. This leaves ghostly images of the opposite side on each face of the coin. If you spot this, you found a piece of minting history. There are also off-center strikes, where the design is clearly shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. These errors are instantly noticeable and often command hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on severity. And lastly, there's the extremely rare double die reverse, DDR, error. In this case, you might see doubling in the text, crossing the Delaware, or along Washington's figure. This is a favorite among serious collectors because the doubling adds a dramatic 3D-like effect to the coin's lettering or design. Now, let's talk condition. As with all coins, mint state quality matters. If your 2021 quarter is in pristine, uncirculated condition, without scratches, nicks, or signs of wear, its value skyrockets. Add an error on top of that, and now you're looking at a serious payday. But how rare are these error coins, really? Well, that's part of the excitement. These types of minting mistakes aren't supposed to happen. But when they do, they slip past quality control in extremely small numbers, sometimes only a handful in an entire mint run. That's why collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. Because they're not just buying a coin, they're buying rarity, uniqueness, and a piece of history that no one else has. Now, let's get to the part you've all been waiting for. If you have a 2021 crossing the Delaware quarter with one of the rare mint errors we just mentioned, especially in near-perfect, uncirculated condition, you could be holding a coin worth as much as $86,000. Yes, you heard that right. $86,000 for a coin that's still dated just a few years. AGO.SO. What does this mean for you? It means that the next time you get change back at the grocery store, or you're sorting through your coin jar, don't overlook the 2021 quarter. Inspect it closely. Look for those rare errors. Check the condition. Because you just might have a tiny treasure hiding in plain sight, and if you're passionate about coins, history, or just the thrill of the hunt, this is exactly the kind of story that keeps the hobby alive. Top 2. We're diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, yet some collectors would pay a small fortune to own. It's a coin that millions of Americans have held in their hands, slipped into vending machines, or dropped into change jars without a second thought. But here's the twist: one rare version of this ordinary coin has sold for a jaw-dropping amount. So, what is it? We're talking about the 1998 Washington quarter. Yes, the one you might have right now in your pocket or wallet. Sounds too simple, right? Well, don't let that fool you. What seems like a common coin could actually be a goldmine, if you know what to look for. Let's take a moment to appreciate the background. By 1998, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for over 6 decades. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, this coin had become one of the most familiar faces in U.S. coinage. But 1998 was a very special year. It was the final year before the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999. That means the 1998 quarter marked the end of an era and the last of the classic-style Washington quarters before the massive design overhaul that followed. This transitional moment adds a layer of historical significance to the 1998 issue. It was the last time Americans would see the traditional eagle reverse design, with its proud wings spread wide, perched above a bundle of arrows and olive branches, symbols of strength and peace. Starting in 1999, that image was replaced with ever-changing designs from state to state. Now here's where things start to get really exciting. On the surface, the 1998 quarter looks just like any other. But certain rare varieties and minting errors can turn this 25-cent coin into a 4- or 5-figure collector's dream. Let's talk about the types of errors and unique traits that make some 1998 quarters so valuable. Point 1. Of the most famous is the off-metal error, a mistake where a quarter is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a dime, nickel, or even a foreign coin. These errors are incredibly rare and highly prized. Imagine a quarter that's the wrong size, wrong weight, or made from the wrong metal entirely. Now that's something collectors go wild for. Next up is the double die error, a mistake made during the coin striking process that causes certain elements, like the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, 1998, to appear slightly doubled. At first glance, you might not notice it, but under magnification, the doubled letters or numbers jump out. These errors are a favorite among numismatists because they're unusual, traceable, and difficult to replicate. Another popular error is the broad strike, when a coin is struck without a proper collar, causing it to spread outward. These quarters look slightly warped and larger than usual. Collectors love them because they are visually striking and clearly different from normal circulation coins. Then there's the clipped planchet error, where a portion of the coin is literally missing. These can appear like crescent-shaped bites taken out of the coin's edge, and while it may look like damage at first, it's actually a rare mistake from the minting process. But even beyond errors, the condition of the coin is everything. If your 1998 Washington quarter has survived in mint state, with full original luster, no scratches, and sharp details, it becomes significantly more desirable. Coins graded MS67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC are considered top tier and can bring impressive values at auction. Now here's where this all comes together. Imagine you're going through your old change collection, maybe helping your grandparents clean out a drawer, or just casually flipping through quarters at a coin show. You pick up a 1998 quarter, and something catches your eye, maybe a strange rim, a doubled letter, or an odd weight. You look closer, and boom, you've discovered a rare error coin in nearly perfect condition. What would that be worth? Well, here's the part you've been waiting for: a verified rare error version of the 1998 Washington quarter, in pristine uncirculated condition, with a confirmed mint mistake, has sold to collectors for as much as $89,000. Yes, you heard me right, $89,000. For a single quarter. One that once bought candy, parking meters, or maybe just sat in a jar for decades. That's the magic of coin collecting. Sometimes, the most valuable coins aren't the ones covered in gold or locked in a museum, they're the ones hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone like you to spot them. So, before you toss that quarter back into your pocket, take a closer look. You might just be holding a rare gem worth far more than 25 cents. Top 3. We're traveling back to the mid-90s to uncover the secrets of a coin that often slips through our hands unnoticed, but might just be worth thousands if you know what to look for. Let's talk about the 1996 Washington quarter. Yes, that regular-looking quarter you might find in your change, rolling around in your car, or sitting quietly in a dusty coin jar. At first glance, it looks like any other coin. But what if I told you that one version of this coin has sold for more than the price of a brand new luxury car? That's right, this 25-cent piece could be worth a fortune if you've got the right one. So pay close attention, because you might already have it without even knowing. To understand why this particular quarter matters, we need to talk a little about its background. The Washington quarter was first issued in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its design, featuring Washington's profile on the front, has remained a symbol of American coinage for decades. By 1996, the Washington quarter was still rolling strong, but what makes this year stand out is that it was one of the last years before a massive change in U.S. quarters. Just 3 years later, the Mint would launch the 50-state quarters program, which completely changed the reverse design of the coin and created one of the most successful coin collecting booms in American history. That makes the 1996 quarter part of the final chapter in the traditional Washington quarter series, featuring the original eagle reverse design, with the proud bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, wings spread wide, olive branches below. It's a powerful symbol of American strength and peace, but what turns an everyday 1996 quarter into a coin that collectors are drooling over? It all comes down to errors, variations, and pristine condition. Let's start with the Mint errors. These mistakes from the U.S. Mint don't happen often, but when they do, and when they escape into circulation, they become treasured by collectors because of their rarity and uniqueness. One of the most sought-after errors in 1996 quarters is the off-center strike. In this error, the coin's image is shifted, sometimes drastically, creating a strange blank crescent on one side of the coin. The more dramatic the misalignment, the more valuable the coin. Then there's the double die obverse. This is where certain parts of the coin, like the word Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or even the date 1996, appear doubled. At first glance, it might look like a blur or a shadow, but under magnification, the doubling becomes clear. These errors are fascinating and extremely desirable among error coin collectors. We also have broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the collar that holds it in place. As a result, the coin comes out wider than usual and with a stretched design. It's unmistakable when you see it, and yes, collectors will pay serious money for it. Another thing to keep an eye on? Clipped planchet errors. This is when a part of the metal blank was improperly cut before being struck, resulting in a coin with a clean-cut chunk missing from the edge. It's an obvious and impressive error that adds to the coin's value, but even if your 1996 quarter doesn't have a striking mint error, condition alone can make it worth thousands. Most of the coins from that year have gone through heavy circulation. Scratches, wear, and dullness are common. But the few that were never spent, and kept safely in rolls, mint sets, or coin albums, those coins can be in MS66 or MS67 condition, and that's when values start to rise fast. Collectors and grading companies look at every detail: the strike sharpness, the luster, the presence of bag marks, the quality of the surfaces. A coin in mint state condition is not just a nice coin, it's a treasure. Now imagine combining a rare mint error with a high mint state grade. That's the ultimate jackpot. And yes, it's happened before with this exact coin. So now you're probably wondering, Just how much could a 1996 Washington quarter really be worth? Let's not keep you waiting any longer. If you happen to own a 1996 Washington quarter that features a rare error like an off-center strike, double die, or clipped planchet, and if it's in pristine, uncirculated condition, your coin could be worth as much as $92,000. Yes, you heard me clearly, $92,000. For a single quarter that most people wouldn't look at twice. That's why this hobby is so thrilling. Coins like these prove that value isn't always about age or appearance. Sometimes, the difference between a regular coin and a fortune is just a small flaw, a minting slip, or an exceptional state of preservation. So before you spend that quarter, take a second to check the date. Look at the details. Examine the edges, the lettering, the finish. Because you never know, the next coin you pick up might just make you richer than you ever imagined. Top 4. We're about to shine the spotlight on a coin that many people completely overlook, yet it holds the potential to be worth a life-changing amount of money. We're talking about the 1991 Washington quarter. Yes, the regular-looking 25-cent piece that might be sitting in your change jar right now. But don't let its common appearance fool you. Because if you know what to look for, this seemingly ordinary coin could be your ticket to a surprising fortune. Now, let's jump right into why the 1991 quarter is not just another piece of loose change. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, when it was first minted to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1991, this iconic coin was well into its sixth decade of circulation. The design remained the same classic we all know, Washington's profile on the obverse, and on the reverse, the proud American eagle standing tall with wings stretched and clutching arrows and olive branches, representing military readiness and peace. But here's the thing about coins, even the most normal ones can become highly valuable under the right circumstances. The 1991 quarter is a perfect example. Why? Because rare varieties, minting mistakes, and exceptional condition can make all the difference. That's what separates a regular pocket coin from a museum-worthy treasure. Let's talk about some of those rare features and mint errors that have collectors hunting down 1991 quarters like hidden gold. One of the most exciting errors is the double die, a striking error where part of the design is duplicated. On the 1991 quarter, this might show up on the inscriptions like Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or even the date itself. If you notice letters that look slightly doubled or have a shadow effect under magnification, you might be holding a double die error. And that means serious value. Next up is the off-center strike, one of the most easily recognizable minting mistakes. This happens when the coin blank isn't properly aligned during the strike, causing the design to be shifted to one side, leaving a blank crescent or warped appearance. The more extreme the shift, the more valuable the coin becomes. Another rare one is the broad strike error, which occurs when the collar that shapes the coin's edge fails, and the metal spreads wider than usual. This gives the coin a stretched or flat look. It's dramatic, unusual, and highly collectible. Then we have the clipped planchet error, where a section of the coin is missing due to the blank being improperly cut before minting. These coins often have a clean crescent-shaped cut and are among the most visually striking errors a collector can find. And let's not forget about the wrong planchet strikes, cases where a quarter was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different coin, like a dime or foreign currency. These off-metal errors are extremely rare and fetch premium prices in the marketplace, but it's not just about errors. Condition matters more than most people realize. If your 1991 quarter has remained untouched, never used, and has its original luster and flawless surface, then you might be looking at an MS-67 or even MS-68 grade coin. Grading services like PCGS and NGC assign these mint state grades based on sharpness, brightness, and overall perfection. And trust me, high-grade 1991 quarters are not easy to find. Most have gone through decades of heavy use, making pristine ones incredibly rare. Now combine both, a rare mint error and an uncirculated condition, and you've got a coin that becomes the holy grail for collectors. Just imagine, a simple quarter you find while sorting through your old coin jar could be a unique piece with an error missed by the mint's quality checks, and if it's been preserved perfectly, you might be holding something worth more than anyone could guess. So, now the moment you've been waiting for. If you happen to own a 1991 Washington quarter that includes a rare mint error, like a double die, off-center strike, or broad strike, and it's in high mint state condition, that coin could be worth as much as $95,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $95,000. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a college degree, or even a down payment on a dream home, all from a single 25-cent piece. That's the kind of value that keeps coin collectors searching, flipping, and inspecting coins every single day. Because in this hobby, fortunes are hiding in the smallest places, and the thrill is in the hunt. So what are you waiting for? Go through your change. Check those coin rolls. Search those old jars, wallets, and collections passed down from family. That 1991 quarter you find just might be your ticket to an unbelievable payday. Top 5. We're unlocking the hidden mystery of a coin that millions of people handled every day in the 1970s. A coin that looks just like any other quarter, yet one rare version of it has stunned collectors and fetched a price that most people wouldn't believe unless they saw it themselves. We're talking about the 1974 Washington quarter. Yes, that humble 25-cent coin that may be hiding in your piggy bank, your car's cup holder, or that old collection from your grandparents. It may look ordinary, but it has a secret. And if yours is the right one, you could be holding a coin worth more than an average year's salary. Stick with me, because this story is about rarity, errors, and unexpected fortune, and by the end of this video, you might find yourself digging through your change jar with a magnifying glass. Let's rewind the clock for a moment. The year was 1974. America was coming out of a turbulent era, the Vietnam War was ending, the Watergate scandal was unraveling, and inflation was becoming a national issue. The U.S. Mint continued striking Washington quarters with their classic design, George Washington's portrait on the obverse, and the majestic bald eagle on the reverse, wings outstretched, perched on arrows and olive branches. From the outside, nothing looked unusual. These coins were made from copper-nickel clad, not silver, that ended in 1964. But even though silver was no longer used, something else was going on behind the scenes. In this same era, the U.S. Mint was experimenting with coin compositions, particularly in preparation for the bicentennial coins of 1976. That means, test strikes and experimental planchets were being produced in extremely low numbers, some of which, mysteriously, ended up in circulation. Now let's get into what makes the 1974 Washington quarter so special, and why collectors are chasing it with serious passion. There are a few key mint errors and rare varieties that have turned this common coin into a superstar of modern numismatics. First, let's talk about the struck on the wrong planchet error. Some 1974 quarters were accidentally struck on foreign coin blanks, or planchets intended for other U.S. coins like the penny or nickel. Imagine holding a quarter that's smaller, thinner, or has a completely different color or weight. That's not damage, it's an error from the mint. And these are rare. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and part of it is literally missing. The date may be shifted, the eagle's wings cut off. Errors like this can dramatically increase a coin's value, especially when the misalignment is significant but the date remains readable. Another thrilling error is the double die obverse, where the lettering on the front of the coin appears doubled. It's most often seen in the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, or even the year 1974. Under magnification, this doubling is clear, and collectors go wild for it. There are also broad strike errors, where the coin spreads outward beyond its normal shape, due to being struck without a collar. These pieces have a stretched, smooth rim and look warped, totally unlike the tight edge of a normal quarter. Now let's not forget the most important factor, condition. Even without an error, a 1974 quarter in perfect, mint state condition can be incredibly valuable. Most of these coins entered circulation immediately and have long since lost their luster. But a few were preserved, whether in coin rolls, sets, or private collections, and those high-grade examples are graded MS66, MS67, or even MS68 by professional services like PCGS and NGC, and if you combine mint condition with a rare error, now you're in serious jackpot territory. So here's the scenario that gets every collector excited. You find a 1974 Washington quarter. It's shiny, flawless, looks untouched. Maybe you notice something odd, like a doubled letter, a strange rim, or it's lighter than expected. You send it in for grading, and they confirm it's an error coin, And not just any error coin, one of the rarest of its kind. Are you ready to hear how much it could be worth? A verified 1974 Washington quarter, in pristine condition, with a rare mint error such as a wrong planchet strike or double die, has sold to collectors for as much as $120,000. Yes, you heard that right. $120,000. For a single quarter that was minted over 50 years ago. And the craziest part? It looks just like the ones in your change, until you look a little closer. That's what makes coin collecting so powerful. It's not just about money, it's about discovery. It's about holding a piece of history in your hand and realizing that something so small can carry such an enormous value. So, go ahead. Pull out your old coin jars. Search through those forgotten rolls. Look at every 1974 quarter you find just a little more carefully. Because you never know, you might already own a quarter that's worth far more than 25 cents, and if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more about coins that could be hiding in your pocket right now, like this video, subscribe to Coins Hunter USA, and turn on the notification bell, because every week we bring you the rarest finds, shocking values, and stories that make this hobby one of the most exciting in the world. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep hunting, keep checking your change, and happy collecting.